Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. I am so glad you're here with me on this wonderful, beautiful Monday. Today we're going to be talking about how to build an effective photographer website. But before we do that, I want to tell you about what's going on and what we're trying to do here and how you can benefit from it. So the Portrait Profit Show is here for you to get more on the business side of photography, to grow and gain and share with others the things that may cause you some difficulties. Every single Monday, we're here to uplift the photography community. Hi, my name is Jim Landers, and my mission, it's simple. I help portrait photographers just like you make a great income doing what they love. Each week, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School, which is what I do full-time, helping out photographers full-time, that's what Amanda at Digital Pro Lab does too, helps out photographers full-time. That's what we do. That's what we love doing. That is our passion. That's why we're doing things like this. That's why we're reaching out to you in the photography community. I want you to get out your notepads and pens, and I want to encourage you to hit that like button, hit that love button, and I want you to comment, even ask questions. And if they're appropriate and I've got time, I'm going to answer those questions live right here on the show. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard, that's who our platform is with, permission to see your name. That way, when you do leave a comment, it doesn't just say Facebook user or YouTube user. It actually says your name, and I can use your name when I'm responding to you. So again, before leaving a comment, please leave StreamYard. Give StreamYard permission. Now, the way to do that is just at the top of the post, at the post itself, the main post, down at the bottom of it is just a simple link. Click that link. It gives you permission. It gives permission for StreamYard to use your name. So take care of that, if you would. Well, Kevin, I'm glad you're here. I can't wait for it either. I get excited about each one of these, but every one of them seems to be my new special one that I just love. And Suri, I'm glad you are here. You don't see the link. All right. So, Andres, the post, the original post, so it's right above where this video is. We'll have just information about what's going on here today. And at the bottom of it should be a link. I did realize yesterday we simulcast to 7 different ones. I did notice yesterday that there were 2 or 3 that didn't have it, and I thought I'd fixed that. You may be on one of those that I didn't notice. So, but you can go to the link you see here, StreamYard.com/Facebook. If you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you can get permission there. Steve, I'm so glad you're here today. Always good to see you. Okay. Got it, Andres. All right. So I'm going to turn that off and move into our subject for today. I'm excited about it. I hope you are too. Let's see. I'm going to turn. There we go. That's how I turn it off. I know how to use this stuff. All right. Today we're talking about how to build an effective photographer website. Now, I understand that probably a lot of you have websites. I know that there are a lot that don't as well. They have a web presence of some kind, and which is needed. A website is a choice. I believe it's the right choice for pretty much everybody, but not everybody. It's just a tool. There are lots of tools in the marketing toolbox for photographers. This is one, and to me, it's an important one. And for a lot of you, it's an important one as well. When it comes to a website, it seems like we all pretty much want the same thing. A pretty website that you can be proud of, with lots of visitors that come to admire your work and share it with their friends, right? Maybe a little bit more than that, but that's surface level. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is that we all want the same thing, and that's why all websites seem to kind of look similar. They look a lot alike. Is that a bad thing? It isn't a bad thing. It's better to have a presence than no presence online. But does it cause what you want to happen? Maybe we need to define what it is we want to happen. Well, good news. Today we will talk about some things, not everything. We only have an hour to talk about it. But we will talk about some things that will make your design of your website and your message work for what I believe is a website's intended purpose. And that's to bring in a steady flow of qualified leads or prospects. Don't we want a steady flow of people coming in who are noticing what we're doing, who like what it is that we're doing? Yeah. We want a steady flow of qualified prospects. Prospects meaning they're not our clients yet, but they will become our clients pretty quickly if we're doing it right. So what is the purpose of a photographer's website? Most would say it's a place where you share what you do, who you are, why you do it, a place for you to shine, where a place where a client can reach you, a place for clients to book you. There's a lot of things that someone would say is the purpose or main purpose of their photography website. But do you have to have a website? No, you don't have to have a website, but your target market likely wants more information before they're ready to reach out to you. So a website is a good place for them to do that kind of thing. Sure, there's Facebook pages and Instagram. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do that, to find more information about you. But a website is just you. There's no other photographers, no other of your industry that are on your webpage. So therefore, it's just you. They're seeing just you. So when they do go to the website, they're researching. They're looking for three main things. First, do I like their work? Now, they may have gone to your website because they already saw your work and they just wanted more information. So they're going to confirm that they like the work. Number two, they're going because they want to know who this person is. Who are they? Again, I'm talking from the prospect's point of view. They're saying, who are they? In other words, they're saying, who are you? I want to know if they're a good person. What's their story? And number three, reviews and testimonials. Not everybody's looking for those, but there are many who are very much influenced by what other people say about you and your business. So reviews and testimonials, something at least, to help confirm their thoughts about you. For these reasons, and actually several more, I say a website or similar web presence is necessary. A website gives you the potential to look serious, to share what you do from their point of view, your client, your prospect's point of view. And it looks even more professional when you have a domain name. In my opinion, a website is part of a well-balanced marketing plan. And marketing, by the way, is the last thing you do to attract clients. What? The last thing? Because you've got some stuff to do. You don't start a website by building a website. You start just like building a house, with planning. So I'm going to give you my 8 steps. Again, you need your pen and paper, or watch the recording later and take your notes then. Either way, you're going to want to write this down. These are my 8 steps for planning an effective photographer website, because I want to drive qualified leads into your inbox or towards your phone, whatever it is you want them to do next. If your website isn't causing them to do whatever it is you want to do next, by the way, you've got to define what it is you want them to do next. But if that isn't happening, it just means there's some improvement necessary. All right. So the 8 steps for planning an effective photographer website. Number 1, I want you to narrow your focus. Define your niche or niche. Choose just one, in some cases 2, but not 22. If you guys have listened to me any period of time, you've heard me say this. Several years ago, I was visiting, looking at other photographers' websites. I still do that quite often. This person said, I specialize in, and then there was quite a list. So I counted. There were 27 things that they said they were specializing in. Guys, just because you have the ability to press the shutter button in front of something does not mean you're a specialist at that something. I mean, when you think of doctors and you think of lawyers, when they specialize in something, do you see a list of 27 things? No, you see a list of just a handful. And I want you to bring it down to just 1, maybe 2, if the 2 things go hand in hand. Next, I want you to get out your mission statement. You've already written it, right? Your mission statement? What your mission, what it is we're doing here. By the way, if you haven't written your mission statement, do that today. You have to have a mission statement. Get that out in front of you. I recommend, and you guys have heard me say this before, I recommend that you have a minimum of 4 things. And for my medium and advanced students, I actually recommend 5. But I want to recommend 4 things that are just sitting out in front of you in your workspace. One of them is your mission statement. Next is your value statement. What do you value? What's important to you? Next is your vision statement. What do you see? What are you heading towards? And number 4, a description of your target market. I want this in your work environment. And the reason is because we all have decisions that we make. We all see things. And the way we're seeing things is not just how they are, but through a filter that we've built over time, based on our experiences, based on what we've read, based on the opinions of people we value, based on lots of different things. But we view life, everything in it, through a filter. It's not clean and clear. It's got stuff. And everybody's filter is different. That's why you and someone else could look at the same thing and come to different conclusions. So therefore, if we know we're going to be viewing everything through a filter, let's make the filter what we want it to be. Put in front of you your mission statement, your value statement, your vision statement, and your target market. And by the way, those of you who've been with me for a while know that I also add positioning statement in there too. But that's for the advanced class. So I want you to have a minimum of those 4 things sitting in front of you so that everything you're doing, when you stop for a moment, you read one of those, 2 of those. It becomes a stronger and stronger part of your filter. You also refine it as you go because you see areas where you could make improvements to it. Get out your mission statement. Next, let's think about what types of photography that you do or are capable of. What things do you have the ability to press the shutter button in front of? You may be able to photograph anything. But again, do you have the budget to attract people in every type of photography? If so, maybe consider investing some of that excess money that you have to invest into a small photography school so that we can expand and get more people this information. I know that you don't have a huge budget for this. I know. So stop telling people you do everything. You don't have that much of a budget to do a good job. You're spreading yourself thin when you say I do everything, because now you've got to explain everything. You put a little bit of money into every little piece that you do. And money's not the only thing you're putting in. Time. Do you have an endless supply of it? Do you have more hours in your day than I do? I've got 24. How many do you have? If you've got 30, then you've got something you can teach and make you a millionaire. I will take your class on time bending. You don't have more time than I have. At least if you do, I don't know it. So therefore, you don't have time to do everything. So not only do you have the budget for it, you don't have the time for it. So why are you trying to do everything? You're thinning yourself out. The fact is, the vast majority of photographers barely have the budget for just one niche. They barely have the time for just one niche. If they are adding a whole bunch into it, they're having to spread their time and money out to cover each one of them. You don't have that. Besides, you don't even want that. And let me tell you why. In addition to those two reasons, let me tell you another reason. No one will remember all 27 things you have the ability to press the shutter button in front of. But they'll remember one. Do you want to be remembered? Do you want people to know exactly what it is you do? I do. I want people to know exactly what it is that I do. I don't want them curious about it. So for purposes of simplicity and purposes of this class at least, and the greater likelihood that you'll actually complete this or whatever it is you set out to do, choose one. We need a clear description of that one tool. By the way, if you had 27, you need a clear description of all 27. And that's time consuming. Let's just get a clear description of one. For now, if you feel like you need to add more later, great. If you get more time later, wonderful. But you don't have an endless supply of it. Let's just do one. This might seem odd, but it's true. Your photography website isn't about you. You are just a tool to help someone else get what they want. What? Yeah. A photography website isn't about you. You, as a photographer, are a tool to help someone else get what they want. And that's great. A website is just a place where you can describe in detail what tool you are from your client's point of view. Every image, every word, every testimonial needs to communicate to your specific target market in a way that is so clear that your target market audience your target audience, you can call this either target audience or target market. It's the same thing. You want to be so clear that your target market knows you are the right person for the job. They're totally clear on that because you've done such a good job describing what it is that you do, and that's what it is that they need. Now, you guys have heard me say magnetic marketing. If not, write this down. In my opinion, you want magnetic marketing. You want to really, really attract those who you want to attract. The people you want to work with, who are wanting to do the kinds of photography that you want to do and are willing to do business your way. You want to attract those guys hard. Yes. Those who don't want to do business your way, who want to change everything, those who drain your energy, who are asking you to do things that you don't do or you're not quite as good at. You're not trying to attract those guys. So I believe in magnetic marketing. Strongly attract those who you're interested in and repel the others. Now, repel doesn't mean make them angry. It just I'm just saying make sure that you're very clear on what it is you do. If you are a tool at a tool store, if you're at Home Depot or Lowe's, if you're a tool, by the way, if you're here for the first time, you haven't heard me say this. If you've been here for a while, I've said this one at least twice before. If you describe what you do, let's say in this instance, you're a tool and you are a tool that spins really fast and you cut things and you do it really well and for a long time and you can last a long time. Okay. You know how many different things you described with that description? It's not enough because you're a lawnmower. You're a weed eater. You're a circular saw. You're also a ceiling fan. Now, you may not be designed to cut things, but depending on what it is, it's moving fast enough to do it. We have to be very specific in describing who we are. So when someone comes to pull us off the shelf, that we're the right tool. We're not trying to convince someone that we can do everything. Why? You're not the best at everything. Besides, there's a lot of things that drain you, a lot of people that drain you. Why would you even want to attract them? That just makes zero sense. You may say, well, because I need the income. Come on. Don't you? I do too. I understand that completely. It's wrong, but I understand it. It's wrong. I know it because I did that too. Didn't know it was wrong at the time. It felt right at the time. I would have argued with someone saying that it was right at the time, but I've evolved and have a different opinion about that now because I spent a lot of time with the wrong people doing things I didn't necessarily want to do. Now, I would say if it totally didn't want to do it, I would say no to it. But it wouldn't have been the way that I would have wanted, I recommended. I'm slightly watering down what it is I do based on some requests. And why do such a thing? Working with demanding clients who aren't appreciative, why would I want to attract those guys? I don't. So therefore, I show and convey what it is that I do so clearly that I either attract them hard or I repel them. Magnetic marketing. Every element of your website needs to be evaluated as to, does this make it perfectly clear to my target market? Because if it leaves questions or it lacks clarity, you've got to amend that. You've got to improve it. So I want you to take some time, not right now because we need to get through this, but I want you to take some time. Write this down. It's part of your homework assignment. What do you do? What do you do? And who do you want to do this with? Now, that's what we're moving into right now is define your target market. Again, people drain you. Others uplift you. Which would you rather spend your time with? Just because it's work doesn't mean you have to be drained. That's as an employee. A lot of employees feel drained. You are both employee and employer. Be a better employer. And only have around you the people that you as an employee want to work with and doing the things that you really want to do. The importance of specifically defining your target market? Well, I think we can all agree that in order to get business, you've got to do something to attract it. So let's start there. How do we attract business? I know there's a lot of you that are wondering that. That's the hard part, isn't it? At least one of them. One of the hard parts, of course. I want you to define you. Define your values. The things that invigorate you. The things that keep you sane. The things that cause you happiness. This way, your needs and the needs of your target market are going to be in harmony. So that you only attract those that keep you going. So define who you want to attract. Am I back? I hope I'm back. I don't know what happened just then. Everything just went blank. I think I'm back. Yes. All right. Well, I don't know what happened, guys, but I think we're back. If not, then someone's going to have to tell me because I'm going to keep on keeping on. All right, so we are defining our target market. Define who you want to attract. You are just one person. But your goal is not to attract everyone who has money. Man, I keep coming across a lot of photographers that say I'm targeting people who have money because, well, they can afford what I do. I get it. I hear what you're saying. You want to attract those who value what it is that you do. Give you an example. It's probably at least a decade ago, probably maybe even as many as 2 decades ago. A bride to be came and visited with me and asked me a good question, and that's, well, how much do you charge, basically? But she was also very concerned because she really wanted to work with me. Man, I love clients that say that. She really wanted to work with me, but she had a very limited budget. And she didn't tell me yet what the budget was, but I did quickly find out because once we went over what she wanted, and I told her that my price was $4,200. By the way, 2 decades ago, that it sounds like that's a high amount for today. Guys, that's average for today. 4,200 is average. I know there's a lot of photographers out there, wedding photographers, that have prices that are under 2,000. If you're going to be full time in photography, there is 0% chance that you could have a under $2,000 wedding, and I can mathematically prove that. If you are willing to do the numbers with me, I'd be happy to do the numbers with you. But you can't have, I've mathematically proven that if you're going to go through all the steps, now you could cut some corners. By the way, cutting corners isn't necessarily a bad thing. It may be very specifically what the client needs. But if you're going to go through everything, the bottom line break-even amount is $2,150. Anything less than that, and you're actually losing money. Again, that's if you're doing everything for a wedding, but that's for another time. This particular bride, once I told her that price was $4,200, she said, all right, I'm going to cancel the DJ and move my venue to my apartment complex. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling bad about this, but that's my price, and I'm going to stick with it. And she paid me $4,200 and had her wedding instead of whatever venue. I don't recall what venue she said. She probably told me, but she had it at her apartment complex lodge. At that point, somewhere in that conversation, she said her total budget was $8,000. She was willing to spend more than half her budget on the photographer alone. Now, you guys might say, well, how do you find those people? Or I wish I could find those people. Guys, if you do a good job of telling people what it is you do, you don't seek them. Don't seek the seekers. They will find you. If you're having a hard time finding the right client, it's because you haven't defined the type of client that you want to work with yet, or at least not good enough. They will find you if you do a good job of targeting your market. She found me. I didn't find her. All my clients found me once I evolved into this way of thinking. Now, before I was chasing them. wondering how other photographers get them. Hustling. Hustling works a little bit, but man, just gets you tired. No, you need to define who you are and the kind of person you want to work with. And then all of a sudden they start finding you. Kind of like when you decide you're going to buy a new car, or you do buy a new car, it seems like there's a whole lot more of that car on the road. Are there really more of that car on the road? Or are you just noticing more of that car on the road? Yeah. When you define clearly who you are and what it is you do, and the type of person that you want to do that with, they find you. There's no chasing. There's no seeking. There's no searching. They find you. You're just putting yourself in their path, and they find you. So you're not after someone who has money. You're after someone who values what you do. Everyone who has money is not a viable target market. There are way more people with money than you have the ability to handle. Besides, do you have enough money to do the marketing necessary with everyone with money? Most of us are going to say, I don't have enough marketing bucks, period. All right, so define everything about your target market. Everything. What kind of person energizes you? What kind of person makes you happy to be around? What do they like to do? What kind of movies do they like? What kind of hobbies do they have? What other types of entertainment? What trips do they go on? What stores do they buy from? What restaurants do they go to? What car do they drive? What is just the most ideal, perfect person in every way? What do they have? What do they do? How do they make you feel? What is the perfect client? Now, you may have a handful of people you think are pretty much close to perfect clients. So create one in your mind and write it down. What's your perfect client? You give yourself the potential to attract who you want to work with when you know what that person likes to do and what it is that is important to them. Your goal is to create a profile of the characteristics that you want most so that you incorporate them into your website. So what happens when you do this? You attract the people you want to work with. They get what they are looking for, and you create clients for life. And you know what? Sometimes, maybe a lot of times, friends. Let's talk about emotional connections before I move on. Emotional connections. What emotional connections does your target market have? You must identify these. These are triggers to help them and you see who each other are. And you're going to include these in your strategy. I've heard these called emotional hooks. That word hook might make you think this is a negative thing, so I'm calling it an emotional connection, but if you want to call it emotional hook, that is how I hear it most of the time. That these cause your target market to connect with you and feel excited to meet with you and work with you. Everything you're doing for this website has got to appeal to your ideal client. That way, those who aren't your ideal client will see that this isn't for them and will move on somewhere else. You're not going to waste their time. They're not going to waste yours. And I do a good enough job wasting my own time. I don't need help. So I want to narrow that down. So define. This is your next to-do list, your next homework assignment. Define who you want to attract. List the things you want in your clients. Now, let's move to step 3. In step 3, we're talking about your keywords and your phrases, how you're being described. So you kind of already did this with the 2 steps above. But let's write this out because this is how searching on the internet works. We're talking about SEO, search engine optimization. By the way, I started doing that in 1996 and it didn't have that name yet. I built my first website in 1996, thinking that I was slow, that I was behind, that others were already there and I was slow to get there. I realized later I was not slow to get there. I was one of the first to be there, but there still were a bunch there when I started. But I got pretty good at search engine optimization, even though I didn't know what that word was at the time. And between 1996 and 1999, coming into 2000, I in that top 10 search, I would have as many as 7 of the 10 with my website, different pages of my website on it, because I got pretty darn good at the search engine optimization. Again, I didn't know I didn't have a name for it then. I just did it. Someone taught me, because one of the things I do is I go visit other people who are doing similar things. So I have visited, since I started being a full-time photographer, I've visited over 500 photographers. That's 1991, so that's over a period of 30 years. So don't think I did that in a year or something. So in a period of 30 years. But I also visited others. In fact, early on in my photography career, I had to have a side job, a part-time job, to support my photography habit, because it wasn't an income-producing business then. And one of the things I chose to do, I chose based on what's going to help me with my business. And so I worked for an internet service provider that also built websites. And so I learned this kind of stuff and got paid. That worked out. So search engine optimization, people looking for things enter something that they think that they will find that they're looking for. So make sure that your website uses these keywords, uses these phrases, so you're more likely to come up in the organic searches. Make sure that you're using the words and phrases in the way that your target market is going to use them. For instance, if you are a family portrait artist, what does your target market search for? Likely it's family portrait photographer. In the city and or area that you're in. Maybe they enter in another, so the best or fantastic family portrait photographer or something along those lines. But whatever it is you feel like your target market is going to ask for, that's what you want to enter. By the way, there is some stuff that you can do with Google Analytics to actually narrow that down to just so you know which ones are working and which ones aren't. That's for another time. So how to list your keywords and phrases. Define who you are and the services you offer. Photographer, portrait photographer, family, weddings, boudoir, seniors, etc. Define where you are in several different ways so that you can narrow this down to see what works the best. And make sure to incorporate them into your website during the build phase. Right now, we are in the planning phase, but you're going to input these that you come up with in the build phase. So that is the keywords and the phrases. Now, step 4, I want you to write your About Me page. Step 5 is to choose which pages you're going to want. So you may think, well, why are you putting the About Me page in front of that? Because I want you to do this before you choose which pages you want there. Hopefully you'll see my reasoning. But write your About Me page. This should be easier, much easier, that you have defined what it is you do and who it is you want to work with. You even have a list now of keywords and phrases, assuming you've done the homework that I've assigned, to incorporate into your description. Remember, a photographer's website is simply a description of the tool that you are. It isn't about you. This is where you are honest, and this is where your honest and emotional hooks attract and invigorate your target market and captivate their attention. But you must do this in a way that is different than every other photographer out there. Here's how most photographers start. They say something like, it all started when I received a camera as a gift. Again, we're talking about the About Me page. It all started when I received a camera as a gift. Or I fell in love with photography after my first child. Or it started out as a hobby. Then family and friends started asking me to photograph them. They said I had the eye. You know what? Nostalgia and passion talk, it isn't the goal here. Yes, this is your story. Yes, it is a good thing. And yes, it matters. But it only matters if your client cares. If they skip past it because it seems too similar to everyone else, because they've seen this before, then it isn't helpful to either you or them. Your stories must captivate your target market and detail who you are in a way that they can see themselves as only choosing you. Include funny, relatable moments in your stories. You want to describe your approach. You want to describe your style. We also need to say who they are. We must plan to say what they need and how we make it happen for them. How you connect with them. You have the exact same interests. You have the exact same values. You make them feel comfortable, valued, important, because this is just what you do. You make them feel confident that you are the one and that they will enjoy being around you just as much as they enjoy your beautiful photographs. So brainstorm about you. I also want you to choose a photograph of yourself. Maybe two. In fact, let's just say two. Maybe a fun headshot and one action. Maybe it's a video, a behind-the-scenes video of you doing your thing. I like putting a name with a face. I think most people do. So that's why I feel like having something of you, a photograph of you, a video of you, both really is important. So maybe include one of you doing your favorite hobby, spending time with family, playing with a pet. These images share warmth even better than words do. So that's choosing a photograph of you, actually multiple images of you. Moving into step number 5. I want you to decide and define what pages you're going to include. We want only those that are beneficial to our target market. We want elements that cause those qualified leads to consistently flow into your inbox, your web form, calling you, whatever it is you want for them to do next. We want this to happen consistently. This is the part you know, but how do we do that? All right. You've already defined who you are, assuming you've done this assignment. You've already defined who your target market is, assuming you've done the homework assignment. Again, once you have completed it. So it makes this step so much easier. Because we already have focused our intentions. We've already focused our goals. Only the elements that attract them, our target market, should be included, and absolutely nothing else. Everything revolves around clarity and ease of use, in addition to those emotional connections or hooks. Make sure to include CTAs. If you don't know what CTA is, call to action. Make sure to include a call to action. What do you want them to do next? And include that on every page of your website. So once they've decided to reach out, they're not searching for how to reach out. A CTA directs them to the next step, so you must define what the next step is. Again, with clarity, so they know what's coming. What do you want them to do? Fill out a form? Email you? Call you? What do you want them to do? What is in your best interest and their best interest? So choose what pages you want. We'll go over a list of those here in just a second. And then with each one of those that you choose, write out what you want on each page. It's just a brief description at this point. And then I want you to choose the title of each page. You guys know how I feel about this. Give everything a home or a name, depending on what it is. If it's physical, give it a home. If it's text, if it's something that you do, a process, give it a name. By the way, when it comes to the pages of your website, cleverness is not always the right choice. Clarity is the right choice. Think about that when you're choosing your titles. Clarity. So you may just go with the most simple version of titles you could go with. So don't necessarily go with clever. I know we as creatives want that. We want clarity. We want it to be easy for them to do business with us, not trying to figure out what that page is. You are presenting your brand in a way that excites and endears your target market to you. You're using only words, images, reviews, and other elements that have the specific goal of attracting your target market. These efforts cause you to receive qualified leads, which results in business growth. Now, I'm going to list several different pages that might be on your website, just so you're thinking about this. So just so it's clear, I'm not telling you should have every one of these, but I'm going to list a few, and I want you to choose whether or not you're going to use them. So you may write them all down and circle the ones you know for sure you want to use. So homepage, about me, a portfolio or gallery, contact information, events or calendar, an info form. Make sure that thing is short. Only include the information you actually need in that information form. By the way, a lot of people put their information form and the contact information on the same page. That's fine, because I think your info form should be on every page. It doesn't even need a separate page. Frequently asked questions. Blog. If you have a newsletter sign-up page and information about what it is, why you'd have it. Prices. Some photographers include no prices whatsoever, and that's fine. If that's part of your plan, if that's the type of person you want to attract, then great. If you need to put something down like starting at price, or if you need to put everything down, unless you have really low prices, I don't recommend you writing down all your prices. There are exceptions to that. It's a case-by-case basis whether I think prices on your website is the right thing and how to do it. So, by the way, we can talk about this. We've got private sessions available for things like this. And then a proofing gallery or a sales page. So these are some examples of things you may find on a page. I'll go through those real quickly one more time. A home page, about me page, a portfolio or gallery page, contact information, events or a calendar, an information form, frequently asked questions, a blog, a newsletter sign-up page, prices, and a proofing gallery or sales. Now, there's lots of other web pages that you might consider too, but these are some of the major ones, at least the ones I see on a lot of photographers' pages. Some of them are very short. There's just one or two pages, and some of them are 50 pages. They're just loaded with stuff. That's usually overkill, by the way. You probably know that. Next, after you've done that, you've identified which pages you want to include, what title you're going to give them, and you've given a brief, at this point, description of what you're going to include on that page. What's important? Why are you having this page at all? Again, everything through the filter of what's best for my target market and me. Next, I want you to choose what images you're going to include. We want obviously only our best work out there. And so, of course, we want that for our website. Choose only images that are relevant to what you've done up to this point. That great photograph of the mountains on your last vacation, that shouldn't be in your gallery. You may think, well, I'm trying to show that, I can photograph. I've got a variety of things that I have skill at pressing the button in front of. Guys, stop. Just because a screwdriver has the ability to be turned around and hammer a nail into the wall does not mean that screwdriver companies should now start selling that. No, be specific on what it is that you do. Show only what it is you want to sell your target market. Images that don't go along with what you say you do should not be there. This isn't a variety show. This is very specific to help them see themselves in that photograph. So don't show off the variety of things you have the ability to press the shutter button in front of. Only the things that you say that this website is about. How many images should be in a portfolio or gallery? I've seen some that have a massive number, and that's not a good idea. You definitely want to show off what you can do, and I'd say that you could have as few as 3. But I would also say a maximum of 30. So somewhere in that range is how many images you want to have. If you're going to have a portfolio or gallery, that's how many you want in there. 3 extreme minimum, 30 extreme maximum. By the way, there's photographers that have no gallery at all. Why? Well, because they sprinkle their photographs on every page. It's a good way to do it. It's one of the ways I sometimes recommend. So, by the way, my recommendations come based off the individual, what's best for them and their target market. So there is no one blanket right way to do things. There's only very specific, customized ways to do things. And so when someone asks me, what's the best this or the best way to do that, I need to know a little bit more about who they are before I can answer a question like that. Every once in a while, I see someone say, what's your favorite lens? A lens is just a tool. So there's no such thing as a favorite. I don't have a favorite screwdriver. The circular saw is not my favorite tool. It's just a tool. Same thing with photography. These are just tools to help you get what it is that you want. So early on when I had only a handful, 1 or 2 lenses, I would definitely have a favorite. But that would be really early on. It didn't take that long. Within a few years for me to realize these are just tools. There's no emotional connection to them. There's no favorite. I choose the one that gets the job done. And the job is what I have here. The vision, the picture that I have in my head. What tool will it take me to get that? There's no favorites there. I just get the tool that's the right one for the job. Whatever lens is the right one. Same thing here. Whatever image is the right one, or right ones, those are the ones you choose. I include images on I recommend having images on every single page of your website. So how many? Greater than 3? Sometimes just 1. So for every page of your website, at least 1 of your images. And then a maximum of 7. It depends on how your page is designed. So again, I can't answer that with a very specific number, but somewhere between 1 and 7 is the appropriate number to have on every single page. Don't have a single page of your website that doesn't have a photograph on it, an example of your work. All right, now how to do this. Only choose images that represent what you clearly stated you do. I want you to go through your images and choose 40 of them. You may not use all 40, but choose 40. Prepare them for the website. And the way you do this is size each of them with the longest edge at 2048 pixels. 2048 pixels at 72 DPI, or PPI in this instance. Same thing as far as you're concerned. DPI just means dots per inch. PPI means pixels per inch. But it's the same thing. And as far as the shorter edge, whatever's appropriate to make the crop size look good. Now, you may be doing some manipulation because the website requires it, some changes to it, make something a little bit more wide. Okay, but that's for later. For right now, just find 40 images and process them at 2048 on the long side. You can do this in Lightroom very easily. And then comes the choice of to watermark or not to watermark. It's your call. In my opinion, abso-freaking-lutely watermark your images. Now, I don't think you should have proof all over the place. I think you should have your logo in the bottom right corner or somewhere that's appropriate. Most of the time, mine's in the bottom right corner, sometimes in the left. Now, your logo. This could be, there's several different things that people do for this. So my logo is relatively simple, and I've had it for a very long time. But if you have a logo, most logos will be better if they have a transparent background. By the way, this isn't always the case, but most of the time a transparent background. So a PNG. Meaning that whatever's in the background behind your logo will show through. In this instance, your photograph. You can do this in Photoshop. You could also do this with Lunapic. By the way, look up Lunapic on a Google search. Lunapic, Lunapic, Lunapic. You can find something there. But this is a quick way to create a graphic. Now, what about a signature, a handwritten signature? There are the signature logos that kind of fall in between, but they're definitely more on the logo side because they're used that way. And they're cool. I absolutely like signature logos. I've been using the same one for so long, I just continue to use the one I have because I like it. But I also really like the signature logos. They're really cool. But how do you create your own? It's simple. Take a Sharpie. Do I have a Sharpie sitting here? I guess I don't. All right, so I do have a Sharpie, but take one of the thick ones. Not this kind. One of the thicker ones. This one's the fine point, so you don't want the fine point one. But one of the thick ones. And sign your name. If you like your signature. If you don't like your signature, well, do the signature logo thing. But handwritten signature, just write your signature on a white piece of paper and then take it to Photoshop and get rid of the white. Or take it to Lunapic and it'll get rid of the white for you. Just the black will show. Now you have, and you may think, well, I don't want it black. Well, change it in Photoshop to white or whatever color you like, gold, whatever. So logo and signature. All right, so now we've chosen our photographs. We've put our logo on it or our signature, whatever we want. We've sized it. Next thing is I want you to collect testimonials and reviews. Testimonials and reviews. This part, these are going to be sprinkled throughout your entire website. I recommend that every single image that you use be accompanied with a testimonial. So when someone sees that photograph, it's not just seeing the photograph, but the reaction of the person that's in it. I believe that every single time you photograph someone, you should be asking them for a testimonial. Now, what if they just say something nice during the session or as they're looking through the photographs or when you've delivered the photographs? At that point, you could just say, would you mind if I wrote that down and sent it to you for approval so I can use it on my website or for my marketing purposes? And I do that all the time. Why? Because I know they're busy. I know they've got a million things going on. So if I ask them for a testimonial and I hope and I wait, they've got a million things going on in their life. I was important during that time, but I'm not important always. They have a lot more important things to do in their life. So therefore, when they say those nice things, I asked them, would you mind if I wrote that down and sent it to you for approval so that I can use it for my marketing purposes? How many people do you think have said no to that? Not a single one. They all say, that's great. So that's how I do that. Now, I also would, request that they do something, a Google review, a Facebook review. Sure, yeah, put 5 stars on my page. If I deserve it, if I don't, tell me what I can do to deserve it, because I don't want any 4s. I want to work only with people who love me and think I'm fantastic. And if they don't, that they tell me what it takes to make them feel that way so that I can do it. Yeah. All right. So that was step number 7, collect testimonials and reviews. Step number 8 is collect your social URLs. Now, I'm assuming you guys know what a URL is, but just in case you don't, let's go over that. It's a universal resource locator. Well, if you didn't know what a URL was, that certainly doesn't help you understand. Okay. Simply said, it's a web address. It's just the web address. So for each social media platform that you use to help you connect with your target market, get that URL so that you can easily add it to your website when it's time. So where may you have some social URL, social media presence? You may have it on Facebook. You may have it on Instagram. You may have it on LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube. There's a whole bunch of them out there. Write down those URLs so you have them handy. By the way, with Instagram, you know how you have just an @ in your name? Make this a clickable link. So the @ is a great for search. When you use that name and you're in Instagram and you put that in the search category, it's great for that. But that's giving them extra steps. Don't give them extra steps. Put in the URL. https:// the rest of that web address. So they can just click it and go to that web page. All right, your homework. I've got a bonus for you. First I want you to do all 8 steps that we just went over. But if you'll do at least the first 5 and you email it to me, I'll give you a free 15-minute private session to go over it with you. Now, again, you've got to do the work and you've got to send it to me. My email address is jim@landersphotoschool.com. jim@landersphotoschool.com. If you'll do the first 5 steps and email them to me. Now, you've got to do it by Friday. This isn't endless. By Friday, the end of this week, the end of the work week. That's Friday, March 11th, 4 p.m., so before the end of the day. By the way, I usually am done by 4 o'clock on Fridays, but still. Friday, 4 o'clock. If you have sent in the first 5 steps to building your website, I'm going to give you a free 15-minute session to go over those things with you. Just you and me. Not a group. Just you and me. So write that down if you have an interest. Now, I want to bring Amanda on. Let's see. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
It's good. It's Monday. The weather's a little chilly over here, but,
Yeah. How's Isla doing?
She's good. She got her surgery this weekend or this past Friday, so she's been in recovery. She's just a little doped up and sleeping in the back over here. But
Poor baby.
Yeah.
But I bet she's getting the best care that any dog could have.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything that you might want to add about websites? By the way, I have so much stuff on websites. I just had to cram it into an hour. I've got at least 50% of it, no, probably a lot more than that, that is just sitting here and I'm like, oh, I want to share that too, but I can't. There's not enough time.
I know there's obviously a whole lot that we can talk about on websites. I'm actually on the board of the American Marketing Association here in San Antonio, so there's so much as far as marketing goes that needs to be covered, and there's like niche areas and how to implement sales techniques and call to actions, just like you had mentioned, and of course there's SEO and all that good stuff. Now, specifically for photographers, I don't think that you mentioned this, but I'm hoping that it's something new I can add to it. Obviously, when you're adding your images, you want your customers to see those images that are a reflection of your style that they're going to be purchasing, right? But I don't very often see clients post pictures of the products that they sell. To really show their clients that, hey, I'm not just about the digital images. That's not what you're coming to me for. I'm here to help you create something tangible that you can pass down generationally. And I know that a lot of clients that I work with, I make sure that they're incorporating some of that into their website and into their social media, because it's a big part of, especially if you're trying to do in-person sales of products and create those products that you're trying to increase, your own income with. You need to show that so that they have an expectation. So hopefully you hadn't mentioned that, but that's something.
No, and I'm really glad you did, because that is one of the things that I do teach in my regular classes. In fact, let me tell you how I share that part, and you tell me how you feel about it. Yeah. So to me, it's part of the good, better, best merchandising. And good is showing your work. That's good. Everybody does it, though. So it puts you in the crowd. What's better? Showing your work in its final state. So if that is an album, it's on a table, someone going through it. That's a final state. Or if you print and it's framed and it's up on someone's wall, it's the installation that you're framing. Your photograph, if it's a canvas, gallery wrap canvas, you may not need to have it framed. But however its final state is, you photograph it on the wall in your client's home. That's better. Well, then what's best? In my opinion, what's best is not only the photograph, but them standing in front of it, showing how thrilled they are. And I'd even say there's one better than that. And in this instance, it's video.
Yeah.
Get them to do a testimonial in front of that thing they're so proud of. It's just new to their life.
Yeah, I know we've done some of that on our social media as well. I don't know that we've got it on our website. Thanks for reminding me. There's a lot of things that you said that I'm like, oh, check. Oh, I haven't done that yet. I need to add that. But yeah, video is amazing, especially because the person can sit there, interact with the product, and then they can also speak to it. And that also gives you that added element of a testimonial, which, is another part of what you had recommended. So it's almost like, a little 2 ticks for the website there. So it's good.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Kevin Reyes, marketing will introduce our work to the clients that are seeking the services or products we provide. That's right, Kevin. I totally agree with that. And let's see. Yeah, sorry, you're right. There's a ton of photographers out there, but the majority of photographers are on the lower price range side of things. And so when you move up to the middle and the high, there's fewer and fewer. Now, you may say, well, there's fewer and fewer clients who are willing to spend that much. Yeah, there are. But there are fewer and fewer in that area. And it actually, if we've done a good job with our marketing, and having a website is just one piece of it, it's not everything. But if we've done a good job of targeting our market, we will attract those who want what it is we do if we've done a good job and very specific job of defining what it is we do. If we say we do everything, we automatically put ourselves in the crowd, because lots of photographers can press the button in front of everything. But it's those who are specific that stand out, because when someone goes in search of a photographer, they're not looking for the everything photographer. I mean, when is the last time that you entered a search in there saying, I am looking for a photographer who can do everything? That's not what people search for. They search for the best family portrait photographer, the best boudoir portrait photographer, the best child portrait photographer. That's what they're searching for. So the fact that someone, a photographer, can do everything is irrelevant. In fact, harmful to your marketing message. And so we've got to be very specific in what it is that we do so that our target market sees us and says, "Oh, that's what I need." But there are going to be a lot that say, "I don't need that." And I say, great. I don't have time for everybody. I don't want to waste their time. I don't want them to waste mine. I do a good enough job of wasting time as it is. I don't need anybody's help. And so I'm going to be real specific on who it is that I'm working with, and that will repel some people. And that is good. Yeah, competition is real. Yeah. Yep, I get it. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, they're just talking to each other on that one. Okay, got it. Yeah, Kevin. There's so many websites that I see where there isn't any call to action. There's just, here's my stuff. See ya. What am I supposed to do next with that? So what that does, if you just show your stuff and don't tell them what they are supposed to do next, chances are they will move on. They will click to the next one because there's no next step. To them, the next step is keep going. So we do have to be real clear on what's next.
And it should be in an obvious area too. They shouldn't have to click 3 or 4 times deep into the website before they actually get to the call to action. So that's really important. Make sure it's all front and center.
Nice. Cool. So obviously with a topic like websites, we could go on and on. I mean, in the class that I teach on this is just scratching the surface of it, because the planning is incredibly important, and the planning makes it easier to actually build the website. But there's still the build. What are we going to put on the homepage? How are we going to say it? How are we going to design it? And what are all these different parts? What file type should we use? It's not just JPEG, and so which one should we use with that? I mean, you could use a JPEG, you could use a PNG, you can use that new web image, the .we, the WebP, WEBP. It's really brand new. It was developed in May of 2020, and this is by Google developers. So there's several different ways to show your images, but we want to do that. And if your images are large and you've got a whole bunch of them, this could have a negative effect on your Google rank. And so using that WebP instead of a JPEG or PNG could be beneficial. It just depends. There's a lot of variables out there. Even the font that you use. There are some fonts that are hard to read. You may like them, but if your target market can't read it, or it's difficult to read, there's so many different variables out there.
Yeah, and depending on what you're viewing your website onto.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to look one way on your phone, a different way on your computer, a different way on an iPad. So make sure that you're actually reviewing all different platforms, just to make sure that it doesn't break on phone, which is really the primary method that people are using to find things, not necessarily the computer anymore.
That's right. Well, Amanda, did you have some things that you wanted to share with us today?
Yeah, let's see. Get my banners up here. And don't mind Isla. She's got a bone and she's like chomping on it. I don't know.
Aww.
She's awake now. All right, here we go. So I did want to say thank you to those that took advantage last week of the sticker promo. They're very popular, especially when we haven't even launched them. We've had several customers take advantage of that. And I actually want to extend it because of the fact that it's such a great marketing tool. It's fun. It's exciting. It's something you can put on notepads, on folders. I even put them on my
cool
water bottles too. But yeah, they're really great for marketing. They're things that you can leave at different locations. I know we're doing one of the Portrait Profits logo. I think I'm going to actually add the website on there, Jim, for you. So when I produce those, that's going to be helpful. So with that, if you haven't already taken advantage of this, just simply email Amanda at digitalprolab.com. Just in the subject, type stickers, and I'll go ahead and coordinate with you the graphic that you want implemented. And those stickers look like this. So this is Isla, the one chomping right below me right now. So that's Isla. We've done some here of our own company, Print Local. It's got our website up in the upper corner. So it's some fun stuff. So I want y'all to take advantage of it if you haven't done so already. We're actually going to launch them next week if all goes well. So you'll kind of get a jump on everybody else, and they're a 50 pack for free. So what's better than free, as Jim usually says. All right. The other stuff I wanted to go over real quick were the events coming up. So we do have our spring break Shop the Block party, which is on March 26th. It's from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. here at the lab, here at Digital Pro Lab. It's actually going to be really fun. We've got food trucks. We've got a DJ. We're going to have a 12 vendor market. So you can come by and support local artists, both photographers, so fine art photographers, as well as graphic and digital artists. So we've got a good spattering of different types of creatives coming through to this particular event. So we hope you'll show support, and it's all outdoors. So it's nice. It's going to be hopefully a really nice day as we kind of move into the nice parts of our weather here. And the other option we always love our friends over at PPSA. So anytime they have a really great event, I usually like to spotlight it for them. This is a great one, actually, especially for photographers that are here learning the way that we're learning here through Portrait Profits. So I don't know if you're familiar with the photographer Gary Box, very very influential Texas photographer here. He does quite a bit for TPPA, but also is being brought here to PPSA. And he's going to be doing an all-day workshop on Sunday, March 27th from, I accidentally put 9 p.m., but 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it's called A Look Inside the Box. What it's going to cover is lighting techniques, how to become more efficient with your lighting techniques. So it's set up, looks very nice, but it doesn't take a whole lot of effort necessarily. And then the second part of that class is actually going to be on in-person sales and how he consistently is getting approximately $3,000 in sales per client interaction. So I think it's going to be a very beneficial course. And because it's all day, you'll have the opportunity to get to know him, really deep dive into the content, and ask him questions. By the end of it, you'll be best friends, I'm sure. So there's that. Any questions about any of that, Jim?
No, those are great.
Yeah.
So Gary Box, you guys want to know who that guy is, so put that on your calendar, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on March 27th, and go to the PPSA website. Thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate it. So PPG, that's Guild, in case you're curious what the G stands for, PPG. SA. I bet you know what the SA stands for if you're from San Antonio. .org, ppgsa.org, and that is in person. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that.
Back up. It was just annoying me that I had put PM instead of.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, did I click on the wrong? There we go. Perfect. And of course, this is just the day before. Put this on your calendar, guys, because this is going to be fun. I think there's going to be a lot of people at this. How does parking work? Should we Uber ourselves in?
I always recommend Uber, especially when we have these big events, because we really don't know what the parking situation is going to be, but we do have a lot of different areas, the neighborhood right behind our location. We're going to have parking behind our facility, and then there's places all around the area that are not open on Saturdays, so we can use their parking spots as well, and they're really generous with that, so we thank them for it. But yeah, Good. It should be a lot of fun. It's the first big event that we've had in probably about 3 years, and if you've ever been to one of our Digital Pro Lab events, we get quite a few people. It's wonderful occasion for creatives, photographers, and then just, natives here in San Antonio to get together and, mingle, network, and support each other. And that's really what this event is about. Like I said, we're going to have food trucks. So we also are bringing in some small businesses that we can kind of highlight them as well. They're some of the best in San Antonio. So stay tuned to figure out who those are. One of them is one of my favorites. It's Eleanor. She actually has a food truck that specializes in cheesesteaks. And if you've ever been to Philly, I love Philly cheesesteaks. They are the best. You're hearing Ray. They're great.
Hey, Ray.
So it should be fun. But yeah, so lots of
Ray chimes in the important parts.
I know. Food.
I love it. And of course, put that on your calendar and take advantage of this, guys. These logo stickers, these are really cool. And this one's emailed, so it's not a promo code like you have seen before. So you're sending an email to Amanda and put stickers in the subject, so that she can see it at a glance, so that when she's going through her emails, she can just do it in alphabetical, and she could put stickers in a search category, and only stickers comes up, so she didn't have to see all the 150 other emails she got during that last hour. So
yeah, we'll be producing them today and tomorrow, those that submitted it last week. So look for your email letting you know it's ready, because those are going to be ready here pretty soon.
Nice. Thank you so much for doing that. That is awesome. Amanda at Digital Pro Lab, they are always doing awesome, wonderful things for us as photographers. So, yep. We love you guys. Thanks, Digital Pro Lab.
As always.
All right. So how about we talk about the upcoming shows that we have. So we have a panel next week, and it'll be about websites, but this time you'll get to hear from 3 different points of view, up to 3. We'll have some people who want to share their opinion on websites. So it'll be their philosophy on websites, what has worked for them, what hasn't worked for them. And so not just my point of view and Amanda's point of view, it will be 3 others who we haven't seen before, who will be answering questions, and you get to hear different points of view, because there's a lot more than just one point of view. If you're looking at a statue, there's a lot more than one way to look at it. You need to walk all the way around it. And that's what a panel does for us. We get to see the same subject from multiple points of view. So I encourage you to be there. And I want to remind you, all of our meetings are on Mondays. Every one of our shows, the Portrait Prophet shows, everyone is on a Monday. And we do it every single Monday. But the second Monday of every single month, you guys have been with us for a while, you know this, but just in case, the second Monday of every single month is at 6:30 in the evening to accommodate those who can't make it during a lunch hour. And so 6:30 in the evening, that's this coming Monday, March 14th, 6:30 in the evening. For some of you, that's spring break week. So you may have other things planned, but you can make time for an hour. So my philosophy on websites, this is a panel that we'll be doing 6:30 March 14th. So add that to your calendar. And then and I didn't add it. All right. So the one I did, for some reason, I didn't add the 21st, but here's the 28th, a guide to self-introduction. This is how you talk, how you share what it is that you do when you are with a person. Some of us have a difficulty in doing that kind of thing, and these are some steps on how to be able to introduce yourself. And this can be used both in person. This can be used for your About Me page, and this can be used as something you would email. But this is definitely geared towards being able to actually share and speak it, share what it is that you do, and even one step further, maybe even speak. talking to your client, your target market. Maybe you work with moms groups and they have speakers every once in a while. This will help you with that kind of thing as well. So that's March 28th. The one we have on March 21st, I am forgetting what it is, so I'm going to look it up real quick. Unless you remember, Amanda.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Let's see. I'm sure I have it close. Here we go. Inspiration. That's what's on March 21st. So sorry, I don't have a banner for that, but I can easily add one. All right, there we go. March 21st is inspiration. So this is what can we do to uplift ourselves and be inspired? I mean, we've experienced this, but can we do this just on command? Just when we need to have inspiration, what do we do to make that happen? Because you've heard of writer's block. Well, we creatives as photographers have this too. We can't be creative 24 hours a day. It's not possible. We don't have that kind of energy. Our superpower runs out. It is a superpower, by the way, but it runs out and we get tired. So when we need it, what do we do? What can we do to become inspired and be an inspiration to those who we want to inspire? So that will be on March 21st. That one will be at noon, and the one on the 28th will be at noon as well. All right. I won't move into the ones for next month yet. So that is what's coming up. Anything else that we needed to mention, Amanda?
I think that covers it. There's a lot going on. I think you did a great job covering the website content. Like I said, I mean, there's so much to deep dive into. So those of y'all that need some one-on-one, obviously take Jim up on his offer for a one-on-one. Jim, do you have your Calendly pop-up banner?
Yes. I just put the Lunch with Landers one on. Let me get the other one. I might as well tell you what this is. So I just posted on the website, or on the Facebook page in the feed, Lunch with Landers. So every single week I take a photographer to lunch with me, and that link to see my calendar so that you can be the next one is right here on this on the feed there. Just click it, find a date that works for you, and I'll take you to lunch at the Dominion Country Club. It'll be on a Tuesday, because that's when I have lunch at the Dominion Country Club, is every single Tuesday. And then what Amanda was talking about, let me bring that one up. That is here. All right, so this is a 30-minute consultation for anyone. Now, this is one per year. So if you've already had one in the last year, then you've already used it. But everyone gets one of these one time per year. Until I'm so busy I can't handle it anymore, then I'll have to stop it. But right now I'm not too busy. I can still fit in some more. And so this is a 30-minute private session for anyone who wants to talk about the business side of photography. Even one popular way people use that is to define what their prices are, because I can be very specific on pricing. Very specific. I have a mathematical equation that I have in an Excel file, and I can tell you exactly what your 8x10 is, how much you're supposed to make as your average sale in order to reach your goals. It's just math, so it makes it real easy. So what other people charge is an irrelevant thing, and so that's one thing we could use that for. And then I probably should remind you about the potential bonus. If you can do the homework, you got 8 steps for an effective website today, but if you'll do the first 5 by Friday, that's your deadline. If you'll do the first 5 by Friday, then I will give you a free 15-minute private session to talk about it, to talk about those different pieces and parts, ask questions, and get specific on you and what it is that you need for your business. So that's how you do that. Just email those, and you need to email those steps to me. I need to see that they're done. Don't just say I did it. So email it to me, jim@landersphotoschool.com, and I will respond with a link so that you can sign up for that 15-minute free session. All right. I think that does it for today.
I think so.
Well, thank you again, Amanda. You and everyone there at Digital Pro Lab. I was there on, when was it, Friday? Yes. Yeah, I stopped by on Friday, but I got there a little after 4. So I know.
You just missed me.
I know the rules.
On a Friday, 4 o'clock, I'm out.
So I stopped by and saw you guys, and you were busy and helping people out, and everyone was smiling and happy. It was just a high energy, wonderful place to be. I just went in and got a print and left. It was a quick thing. So always a good experience going to Digital Pro Lab.
Good, yeah, and it was First Friday, and it's the start of Contemporary Art Month. So if anybody isn't familiar with that, just Google Contemporary Art Month San Antonio, and you'll see there's quite a few exhibits that are being showcased, and there's a lot of very, very interesting creative work. So to speak to your upcoming event, which is Inspiration, those are things that help to get you inspired, going and seeing local art.
I totally agree with that. Awesome. Thank you guys for saying thanks. We appreciate those kind comments and the likes and the loves. Thank you guys for doing that. Thank you, Suri. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Amanda, thank you for everything that it is, for all the things that you do for us photographers. There we go. I was trying to make those go away. Thank you for the promotion that you're doing right now. So if you guys enter stickers into the subject category and email Amanda at digitalprolab.com, you get 50 stickers. You just have to include the what it is you want a sticker of course. So you got to attach that to it. But yeah, thank you for all that you do. I appreciate you, Amanda.
You're welcome. You too, Jim.
So you guys, I hope you've gotten a lot out of today. We've talked about things that you really need to consider and know in order to plan to build an effective photography website. I want to thank you for dedicating your time today to the Portrait Profit Show, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson on websites, and I look forward to watching you grow. So, for Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography. We provide helpful information, step-by-step processes, how-to articles, and action steps that will help you with the struggles you deal with now, so you are constantly realigned to the success you deserve. Bye-bye for now.